Are you tired of living in a world filled with chaos and danger? Do you long for a safe and secure future? Look no further than the Brotherhood of Steel. At the Brotherhood of Steel, we believe in the power of technology and the importance of preserving it for future generations. Our highly trained soldiers and knights are dedicated to keeping the wasteland safe from the dangers that threaten to destroy it, using the latest in military hardware and cutting-edge technology. But we're more than just a military organization. We're a family. We value loyalty, honor, and a commitment to the greater good, and we welcome anyone who shares those values to join our ranks, whether you're a skilled fighter, a talented engineer, or just someone who wants to make a difference. There's a place for you in the Brotherhood of Steel. So if you're ready to fight for a better future and protect the wasteland from those who would destroy it, come join the Brotherhood of Steel. Remember the Brotherhood of Steel for a safer tomorrow? And I know I probably shouldn't have accepted this sponsorship offer, but they paid up front and in caps. 15,000 caps to be specific. Sure, I could have just pocketed the money and burned their letter with this offer. But the Brotherhood of Steel is just so fucking cool. I'm not even fully talking about their power armor, which, don't get me wrong, is so dope. But even the way they carry themselves and act like they're Knights of the Round Table, it's so sick. Everything about them is just so dope. And I know I'm going to catch some heat from Karen at the NCR's public relations office, for saying all of this. I just can't resist. The viewers and listeners watch and listen to my show because I say it like it is. No bullshit, just pure, unaltered opinion. And some of you may not like what I have to say, and that's fine. Hell, some of you may even have had friends or family who served or maybe even died during the NCR and Brotherhood of Steel war. But the Brotherhood is undeniably cool. Everything from the power armor to their laser and plasma weaponry, the way that they treat themselves like Knights of the Round Table, the technology that they amass, it's all very cool. And you know what? I've got a small batch of some special vault-grown wild wasteland kush on me right now that I'm going to spark up in honor of the Brotherhood of Steel. Cheers, everyone, and thank you to the Brotherhood of Steel for sponsoring the Joe Rogan Experience. And a quick message to NCR PR. When I'm on air, you don't get to blow up my Pip-Boy or Jamie's Pip-Boy with messages like, "What are you doing? Stop this right now." And if you don't cut your broadcast, we'll shut you down. And my favorite of all of the messages you guys sent, we're sending an NCR tactical unit to shut down your podcast right now. You had your chance. Hope you enjoyed your 15 minutes of fame with the NCR. Like, I'd like to see you come down here and try to shut us down. This is the Joe Rogan Experience, the new California Republic's #1 podcast. And we ain't going nowhere, motherfucker. So walk that tactical squad back to headquarters. Before me, Jamie, Mark Norman, Shane Gillis, and Ari Shafir start loading up our modified laser assault energy rifles. Me and the JRE crew don't play games. Karen. Welcome back to the Joe Rogan Experience, where you, as a listener, get to hear interesting views from all areas of life. Thanks for being on this show, Father Elijah.
Thanks for having me on.
Now, Father Elijah is calling in from the Sierra Madre and can't be directly on site. Before the show, you told me your plan for using the Sierra Madre to wipe the slate clean. Your plan sounds like it has enormous potential, but I'm curious. There are definitely large moral and ethical dilemmas with your plan. I want to hear you out for once, however. How do you plan on grappling with these dilemmas in your pursuit of a new civilization?
The moral question. To me, it is clear. We are living in a world destroyed by humanity's folly. I believe the end justifies the means in this situation. The Sierra Madre has the potential to restore order, provide stability, to begin again. It could be the bedrock of a new world, free of the chaos and suffering that is the wasteland.
But it sounds like you're saying that you are willing to force this solution onto people with the use of these collars. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and it is a difficult truth. But consider the current state of our world, Joe. We are fragmented, constantly at odds, resources are scarce, and violence is rampant. My goal is to create unity and stability, a chance for a better life. The collars, They are a tool of control, but also a guarantee of safety and survival.
I see. You want to bring people together temporarily, but isn't there something deeply troubling about the idea of stripping people's freedom to ensure cooperation?
Freedom is a luxury, one we can no longer afford in our world. The road to recovery is steep, Joe, and for some, a firm hand to guide them is necessary.
I guess it's all about perspective, huh? From my chair, it seems like the technology you're dealing with is extremely powerful. What about the danger of it falling into the wrong hands?
It is a risk. But the Sierra Madre's defenses are formidable. Holographic security, toxic cloud. It's not easy to conquer. I'm one of the few who understand it well enough to truly harness its capabilities. I will use it responsibly to bring about a new era for humanity. We will rise from the ashes, stronger, unified.
Now, before the show, Elijah, you made it pretty clear you have a large disdain for the NCR. What are your views on them? What are your specific complaints about their empire?
Yes, the new California Republic, so-called bearers of civilization in the wasteland. You see, Joe, my disdain for them is based on their hubris, their short-sightedness. They aspire to rebuild an old world that led to its own destruction. They try to impose order and bureaucracy where flexibility and innovation are needed.
But some might argue that they're just trying to bring some semblance of normality back to the world, right?
Normality. They're bringing back the same institutions and ideals that got us into this mess in the first place. Democracy, capitalism, exploitation of resources without a thought for the consequences. They're stretching themselves too thin, expanding without fortifying, consuming without replenishing. It's the same old story of humanity's hubris.
So if I understand correctly, your main issue is their lack of foresight and their repetition of the same mistakes.
Precisely, Joe. The world has changed. We cannot return to the old ways. We need new methods, new structures, new thinking. That's why the Sierra Madre technology is so crucial. It provides the tools to build a new kind of society, one built on self-sufficiency, security, and unity.
And you believe that people should be forced into this new society for their own good?
I believe, Joe, that sometimes people don't know what's best for them. They need guidance. They need order. In this brutal world, those who can't adapt die. It's harsh, yes, but it's the reality. I simply offer a means to adapt, to survive, and perhaps to flourish once again.
Well, that's certainly a provocative take, Father Elijah. It's a very ends justify the means approach. It's a fascinating discussion, and I appreciate your perspective, even if it's controversial. There's no easy answers in a post-apocalyptic world. Speaking of the world, I've heard tales of your various travels, especially from a certain courier across the world. The courier is not to be confused with the one that woke up in Good Springs pretty recently. One tale I've heard is that you've been through the Big Empty, a place many folks avoid like the plague. What was your experience like there?
The Big Empty, or as some call it, the Old World Blues. A desolate place, but teeming with the echoes of the past. Scientific marvels, technological relics, but also a stark reminder of the destruction that our obsession with progress led to.
Yeah, it seems like a haunting place, a graveyard of the old world, but you're one of the few who ventured into that dangerous terrain. What did you discover?
In the Big Empty, I found remnants of advanced technologies, remnants of a world that once was. The Think Tank, a group of pre-war scientists transformed into sentient brains, trapped in a perpetual cycle of experimentation. It's fascinating and terrifying at the same time.
Terrifying indeed. So, how did those discoveries shape your outlook on the world?
The Big Empty is a testament to mankind's folly, a monument to our mistakes, but it also houses keys to our redemption. From the wreckage, I managed to salvage technologies that could be harnessed for the betterment of humanity. But it also reaffirmed my belief that we must tread carefully, lest we repeat the errors of our past.
Right, that there's a fine line between advancement and self-destruction. It's amazing and a little unnerving how history continues to echo in the present.
Indeed, Joe. The echoes are loudest in the emptiness. We just need to listen, learn, and not repeat the same song of destruction.
Now, something our listeners might want to know about is your experience with being an elder for the Brotherhood of Steel. How did you first occupy Helios 1? How did you lose it to the NCR? What's with the Brotherhood now?
Indeed, I was an elder. Helios 1. It was an old-world facility, a solar power plant of immense capacity. I saw its potential, the energy it could provide, the power it could give the Brotherhood. We occupied it with the intent to harness its power, to fuel our efforts and strengthen our presence in the wasteland. As for losing it, the NCR, they were expanding, reaching out for every resource they could grasp. We were outnumbered, outgunned. Despite our technological superiority, we were not prepared for a full-scale assault. In the end, I ordered a retreat to save my brethren from a total wipeout.
That must have been a heavy decision to make. I'd have thought that your objective in Helios 1 was to protect the technology, rather than to secure it for power. It's interesting to find out that there were ulterior motives.
It was, Joe. But as a leader, you're faced with tough choices. You have to weigh the survival of your people against your goals, your ideals. It's never easy.
I can only imagine. And how about the Brotherhood now? What's happening with them?
The Brotherhood, they're survivors. Resilient. After the loss of Helios 1, they retreated, regrouped. They're still out there, somewhere in the wasteland, clinging to their mission of preserving old-world technology. I can feel it, but I fear they may be losing sight of the broader picture without me. Technology is a tool, not a god to be worshipped. It needs to be used, adapted, evolved, not hoarded and hidden away. That's why I left, why I'm on this path now.
It sounds like you've had quite a journey, Father Elijah. I appreciate your openness and honesty. Despite the dire circumstances, your hope and determination are remarkable. Thank you for being on the show, despite the fact I don't agree with some of your views.
Thank you for having me on the experience, Rogan.
Yeah, you did it, dude.